A $10,000 handbag does not cost $10,000 to make. Yet millions of intelligent, rational adults compete to buy it. Not because of leather, not because of stitching, but because of something far more powerful: perception. Luxury is not an industry built on products. It is an industry built on psychology. And once you understand the hidden economics behind it, you will never look at money the same way again. Most people believe luxury brands make money by charging high prices for high quality. That belief is comforting. It makes the world feel fair. But luxury is not priced based on cost. It is priced based on signaling. The hidden problem is this: people do not buy luxury for utility. They buy it for identity. And identity is one of the most expensive commodities on earth. In traditional economics, price reflects supply and demand. In luxury economics, price creates demand. This is the first psychological inversion. Higher prices increase desirability. Why? Because of a bias known as status signaling. Humans evolved in tribes. Status meant survival. The higher your perceived status, the more protection, resources, and opportunities you gained. Today, survival is less tribal. But the brain is still ancient. When someone buys luxury, they are not purchasing a product. They are purchasing social positioning. This is where behavioral economics enters. There is a concept called the Veblen Effect. When the price of a product increases, demand increases as well, because the product becomes a symbol of exclusivity. Scarcity and high pricing act as filters. They separate everyone from the few. Luxury brands understand this deeply. They do not compete on affordability. They compete on access. Consider Louis Vuitton. The cost of materials in many of their products is a fraction of the retail price. Yet the brand consistently raises prices. Why? Because lowering prices would weaken the signal. If everyone can afford it, the symbol collapses. Luxury brands protect price like tech companies protect patents. Price is not a number. It is a moat. Now look at Hermès. They do something even more strategic. They artificially restrict supply. The Birkin bag is not simply expensive. It is difficult to obtain. You cannot just walk in and buy one. You must build purchase history, relationships, status. Scarcity increases perceived value, but controlled scarcity increases obsession. When access becomes limited, desire intensifies. This is scarcity bias in action. Another example: Rolex. Rolex produces a limited number of high-demand models annually. Authorized dealers often have wait lists. Secondary markets sell at premiums above retail. Notice the psychology. The difficulty of acquisition increases emotional attachment. When something is hard to obtain, the brain assigns it greater value. This is effort justification. The more effort required, the more meaningful the reward feels. Luxury brands do not sell products. They sell narratives, craftsmanship, heritage, legacy. They wrap products in stories. Storytelling activates emotional processing centers in the brain. When emotion increases, price sensitivity decreases. You are no longer comparing cost. You are comparing identity. There is another hidden mechanism: anchoring. If a brand introduces a $50,000 item, a $5,000 item suddenly feels reasonable. High anchor prices recalibrate perception. This is strategic contrast. Luxury brands place ultra-high-end pieces in stores not to sell volume, but to make the rest of the collection feel attainable. The expensive piece is psychological infrastructure. Now consider the profit structure. Luxury brands operate on high margins and low volume. They do not need mass adoption. They need concentrated desire. This creates resilience. During economic downturns, true luxury often remains stable because their core customers are less price sensitive. Wealth concentration supports brand stability. Luxury aligns itself with capital, not consumption cycles. Here is the counterintuitive insight: luxury brands do not chase customers. They repel them. Exclusivity is built through subtle rejection. Limited editions, private previews, invitation-only events. The feeling of not fully belonging increases desire to belong. Rejection fuels aspiration, and aspiration fuels spending. Now step back. What is the hidden money problem? Many consumers attempt to buy status instead of building it. They purchase signals before acquiring substance. This creates financial fragility, because signaling without capital is expensive maintenance. Luxury works best for those who already have leverage. For everyone else, it often becomes silent debt. The psychology of luxury teaches a powerful lesson about money. Value is rarely intrinsic. It is perceived. Markets reward perceived value more than raw utility. This principle extends beyond handbags and watches. It applies to business strategy, personal branding, career positioning. The question is not how good is your product? The question is how is it perceived? Luxury brands invest heavily in environment, store design, lighting, packaging. When surroundings signal quality, the price feels aligned. This is environmental priming. Another hidden driver is social proof. When celebrities, executives, and public figures consistently display a brand, it reinforces status association. Luxury brands do not rely on loud advertising. They rely on curated visibility. Strategic placement is more powerful than mass exposure. Presence in the right circles amplifies prestige. Selective exposure preserves mystique. Now let's extract practical frameworks. First, understand signaling. Before spending money on status symbols, ask yourself, is this purchase building real assets or projecting temporary perception? Signals without substance decay quickly. Substance compounds. Second, apply scarcity strategically. In your own business or career, do not make yourself endlessly available. What is your story? Why are you different? Why should your skills, services, or products command premium pricing? Without narrative, you compete on cost. With narrative, you compete on identity. Fourth, protect price. Discounting frequently erodes authority. Luxury brands rarely discount publicly. They preserve perceived value at all costs. In business, lowering price too quickly signals weakness. Sometimes maintaining price is more profitable than chasing volume. Fifth, invest in perception infrastructure. Presentation matters. Design, communication, environment. Premium experiences reduce friction and increase trust. People assume quality based on cues. Upgrade your cues. Now consider wealth psychology from another angle. The wealthy often buy luxury differently. For them, it is allocation, not aspiration. Luxury becomes a small percentage of capital, not a financial stretch. The emotional intensity is lower. The purchase does not define identity. It complements it. That is a powerful distinction. For those building wealth, the lesson is strategic patience. Early in the wealth-building phase, capital allocation matters more than signaling. Investments create leverage. Leverage creates optionality. Optionality creates status naturally. When status becomes organic, signaling becomes unnecessary. Ironically, that is when luxury becomes affordable. Luxury brands have mastered human psychology. Scarcity, storytelling, anchoring, social proof, environmental priming, status signaling. Each lever multiplies perceived value, and perceived value multiplies price. But the deeper insight is this. The same psychological tools used to extract money from consumers can be used to build wealth. You can either be the one responding to perception or the one engineering it. Markets reward those who understand perception economics. Because in modern capitalism, attention and identity drive capital flow. Luxury is not irrational. It is strategic. It teaches us that value is constructed. Scarcity creates demand. Price shapes perception. And identity drives behavior. Once you see this clearly, you gain control, not just over your spending, but over your positioning. The hidden economics of luxury brands reveal a truth about money itself. Wealth is rarely about what something is. It is about what something represents. And those who master representation often earn more than those who focus only on production. Luxury brands understood this decades ago. The question is whether you will. Because in the modern economy, perception is power. And power, when understood, becomes profit.